Joining us tonight, I'm Derek Francis. Janice Allen has the night off today. Officials in Kalamazoo responded after violence broke out yesterday between counter-protesters and what's been identified by the Southern Poverty Law Center as a hate group. This afternoon, the mayor and others took questions from reporters and community members after walking through the day's events. Fox 17's Marisa Oberle joining us now from the newsroom after attending that press conference at City Hall. Marisa?
Well, Derek, the city and police response during the Proud Boys visit frustrated counter-protesters, with many describing it as inadequate and feeling as if police protected the neo-fascist group. Officials say they did what they could, emphasizing the city rejects hate.
Zero support for their tactics and for their views.
Kalamazoo Mayor David Anderson denouncing the Proud Boys alongside Public Safety Chief Carrie Ann Thomas and City Manager Jim Ritzema Sunday, a day after the neo-fascist group clashed with counter-protesters. It happened around 1:30 and lasted about 15 minutes. The Proud Boys were marching down Water Street when counter-protesters participating in a permitted peaceful protest at Arcadia Creek Festival Place began walking alongside them. The two groups yelling at one another before tensions turned physical.
We gotta stop meeting like this, man.
The views of the Proud Boys that came here and tried to destroy our community are abhorrent. Hate and violence are not welcome in Kalamazoo.
KDPS says they first learned of the group's plans to come to town in July, but attempts to learn more proved unsuccessful. They say no one associated with the group filed a permit. Kalamazoo officials explaining they did not necessarily have to. However, the mayor says that may change in the future. Police did continue to monitor, and as a protest seemed more likely, KDPS brought on 111 officers from 5 jurisdictions, staging them in different areas, ready to respond only if things became violent.
We were prepared for this event.
And while the city closed Sunday's press conference to the public due to COVID-19, they allowed a small group of Black community activists who made 3 demands, such as defund KDPS and reinvest the money, and asked numerous questions.
Why did it feel like our citizens were being harassed and not the Proud Boys by our officers?
Pressing the city most on what counter-protesters viewed as police allowing the Proud Boys to leave freely by blocking off the garage where they parked and declaring police zones at Arcadia Creek.
Many of the things occurred after we were able to get the Proud Boys out of town and after leaving the parking ramp, and yet we still had this chaotic situation that they had created.
The activists also wondering how to improve relations.
The Black Lives Matter protest is for the uplifting and humanization of Black lives, whereas Proud Boys' specific agenda was here to speak hate and fear into this community. So it should have been a flip from how
And we did learn today that police arrested 9 adults, including an MLive reporter and 1 juvenile during those protests. That child was released, and Mayor Anderson has requested charges to be dropped against the 5 cases that went to the city. Charges were also dropped against that MLive reporter, with Chief Thomas apologizing, saying it should have never happened. I'm reporting live in the newsroom. Marisa Oberle, Fox 17 News.
All right, Marisa.